and gentlemen, folks from all across the world, welcome back to the Banter Vault podcast. I am going to be your host today, Kyle. Obviously joined by my normal guests here, co-hosts, Korey and Brennan. Gentlemen, how are we doing today?
Great to be back.
So good. So happy to be back.
Awesome.
It's been a while. We've all settled down at college. You know, we did see each other, but we didn't quite have the time to record something. So, of course,
yeah, I was going through it after the loss.
We went to the West Virginia game, and some people were happier than others.
Two-thirds, 66% of this podcast was very happy with the outcome of that game. The other
33% of this podcast had to go back in after the rain delay, and wasn't sleeping on my couch whenever I got home.
That's true.
33% of this podcast was sleeping on Corey's couch when he came back.
That was a very comfy couch. All right, gentlemen, let's get into the rules here.
Yes,
Obviously,
sir.
we have 20 minutes, I believe. We have 20 minutes to hopefully get 10 agreements on questions. If they disagree on the question, they get 35 seconds each, and they can get to a reconvenience with 90 seconds. And if they do agree, then they get a minute to talk about it, and then we'll move on. And if they don't have 10 points after that 20-minute after that 20-minute round, then we do the speed round where they can hopefully get some points.
Hold on a second. Not to be a non-knower of banter ball, but do we get 25 minutes or 20?
25. It's been a while, gentlemen.
I don't know. I have no idea.
It's 25. It's 25.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I should definitely know that, but I wasn't sure.
Hey, it's all good. We're kicking the rust off. We're getting going, so
that's okay.
It'll be good.
All right, gentlemen. I will start off your timer right after I say the first question, and we'll go for the middle NFL question here. The NFL will play an international game between the Packers and the Eagles in Brazil, actually today. I don't know if it's not going to be about after them, but what do you think would be a good destination for the league to play soon for the growth of the game?
Oh, crap. Oh, we agree. Did that answer go through? Yeah.
Yeah, your answer went through, Brennan.
Yeah, all right, perfect. All right, we agree.
Agree on Australia, gentlemen. You get a minute.
Yeah, I think this is a no-brainer. If you look at any country that has an actual presence in gridiron football, Australia is the one, and the NFL already has an international office in Australia. So the Roots are already planning to make this happen. Now they just need to make a game happen. They already had a preseason game in Sydney 25 years ago. Now let's bring an actual NFL game to Australia.
Yeah, to further that, I said that the NFL really hasn't, outside of the development camps and everything they got going on there, they haven't really played a game on that side of the world in a while. I mean, now you're bringing it to South America, so you got that covered. Of course, Europe, we see the London games, the Germany games every year. Bring it to Australia. That's a great market. Rugby is also a huge sport down there that's very similar to football. I think it'd be a great opportunity for the NFL to expand.
They've done just about everything except for actually have a game in Australia. They have done everything to lay the foundation. Now we need to get that fan base pumping in Australia.
I feel like this is a game that will happen within the next 5 years.
Yeah, they said that they want to try to expand to new countries every year. I think Australia is one of the next.
They got to be next up.
Yeah.
Personally, I would have said Dubai. I think that would be an interesting.
That'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
I would like it. I would like an Asian country potentially, but Australia is the easiest one. I think if you want to target that side of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, let's pivot. Let's go to the other football, which I do have a few questions for. Let's do the top one here for NCAA football. We got what week 2 game are you most excited for? Not to start the season off, but to continue the season hopefully into a good little thing here. So what week 2 game are we looking at? Okay. Okay. So we have some different answers here. Let's let Brennan go first.
All right. I just want to make sure what course this serves. I said the obvious game of the week, Texas versus Michigan. I mean, these are the two heavyweights that are going at it this week. Texas had a great win last week. Michigan, great win last week. These are two top 10 teams in the country right now. We'll have to see how Michigan responds after losing all these players. This is a real test for them this early in the season. Are they going to be legit playoff contenders, or are they just going to be a team that's going to be in the middle of that 10 to 20 range in the top 25 this year? We really don't know. I'm interested to see how Michigan is going to handle that, but I'm really excited to see these two heavyweights go at it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I like Iowa State versus Iowa because I think if you're looking at before the conference play really starts, I think it's fun to see like interstate rivalries and things like that. Last year, Iowa State lost to Iowa, and I think they're going to try to come back and try to prove that they're a big name in the Big 12 this entire season. I think that starts by taking down Iowa, especially since they didn't have as big of a Week 1 game. Whereas Iowa, they're like kind of on the fringe of being one of the bigger names in the Big 10. I think they're just on the outside looking in. So after that 40-0 win Week 1, I think they also want to show a presence at home in Week 2.
All right, let's get a minute 30 on the clock.
Is Iowa State like the only like quote unquote rivalry game that's going on this week? Like,
yeah,
I guess you can answer that.
To my knowledge, yeah, for the most part.
I mean, yeah, no, it's any rivalry game is going to be close.
I think this is a fun one to watch.
I think it's
obvious that Texas and Michigan is going to be like two really big powerhouse teams. Mm-hmm. I think the reason why I'm not necessarily as excited about it is because I feel like it's just a game where one of those teams is going to disappoint. If I had to guess, it's going to be Michigan. But I feel like whatever team loses that matchup is going to look poorly, and I think it's going to be like kind of sad to watch. Whereas this is kind of an exciting game where, I mean, you don't have any real expectations going in. You know Rocco's going to throw for some good yardage. You know Iowa's going to hold them down, and I think it'll be a fun watch overall.
I think it will. I just don't know about this Iowa offense. I mean, they dropped 40 last week, but it was against a really bad opponent.
And that's why you figure it out. That's why you're excited to watch this game, folks.
I think if you're going based off of rivalries, I think that this Iowa State game is a great game because in the state of Iowa, around those regions, like this is a huge deal. I mean, Brock Purdy, George Kittle, and the 49ers, they go at it whenever these two teams play.
Yeah,
so it's a really underrated rivalry. It's tough.
To me, here's my closing remarks here, Brennan. With all the conference realignment that's happening, I think you need games like this to have some sort of consistency in terms of everything in college football. I think this rivalry is a great way to keep consistency and keep good diehard fans coming back for more. Whereas Texas, they just left the Big 12. They're coming through. They're playing big names. It's not as exciting.
Do they play each other every year?
Iowa State, Iowa, for the most part.
All right, I'll go with Korey then. I was gonna be like, if they rarely play each other, then but if it's every year, if it's like a big rivalry,
this is a fun one. This is a fun game.
This is the big game on Iowa's schedule. Then
for the Cyhawk is going to be chosen for the most exciting game this year, or for the Week 2. So I'm not sure if I agree with that. I think the rivalry man in me agrees, but I feel like I'd rather watch the Texas game personally. But okay, let's go to the NBA. I like the NBA here. Let's do the bottom question for the NBA. Kind of a simple one here. Which team this year has the best shot at making the playoffs after missing?
I think I know Corey's answer here, and I think I'm going to agree with that.
Well, that's not my answer because I didn't.
Wow.
Because I didn't count the play-in as being part of the playoffs.
Oh well, I did. So
that's fine.
Okay,
let's let Korey go first.
Okay, so I said Sacramento. It's kind of a no-brainer. They were the 9th seed last year in the West. They just added DeMar DeRozan, lost just about nothing. They played the game really fluidly. The way that Domantas Sabonis, he averaged the most rebounds in the league last year. He gets those rebounds, and a weird stat is that he led the league in like most assists to 3-pointers. He had like some of the most assists per 2 3-pointers averaged in the last like 6 years. He averaged like 4. So that's just because he's so great at kicking the ball out to all of those wings. They lost one of their guards, Davion Mitchell. They had way too many guards going on. They're bringing in a little bit more of a scoring presence, a slasher inside with DeRozan. I think it'll be a no-brainer for Sacramento to make the playoffs.
And so if Korey didn't consider if he did consider the play-in as the playoffs, then I'm pretty sure he would have gone with my team here, which is also his team too. It's the Houston Rockets. Great young core, great presence. Reed Shepherd looked like a beast in the summer league this season. Sengun's going to take the next step. Jalen Green is going to be a stud this year. Fred VanVleet you still got there. The Houston Rockets, of a team that didn't make the playoffs, didn't make the play-in tournament, this is the team you have to keep an eye out for. The Western Conference is getting older. There's a lot more parity that I feel like it's going to go around towards the middle of that. I think the Houston Rockets can definitely take the biggest lead.
All right, let's go to minute 30 on the board.
Yeah, I'm totally willing to make amends on Houston. Houston is a great team, 100%. I think something that you're going to watch throughout this year is they're going to be a team highlighting during the regular season. I think they may make a big run in the in-season tournament this year, kind of make headlines similar to what Indiana did last year. Brennan, it's my turn. It's my turn this time. You got your season last year.
We're still going to be there. Indiana.
We have so many depth. We have so much depth. The biggest question in Houston is where do you put guys? Where do you put certain guys? Because they have so many, and I think that's a good problem to have. If you have that many players,
that is a good problem to have for Houston. The team's going to be unbelievable this year, definitely.
But to be clear, do we agree that Sacramento is making the playoffs, though? Right?
I think so. Yeah.
I think they're probably.
I think they're too talented. I think they're too talented.
I think they probably knock out New Orleans. They probably knock out the Clippers.
No, I love me some DeMontis Sabonis. Like the Kings are kind of like my Western.
They're a fun team to watch. They're honestly a good team to watch.
I like the Kings. Got a lot of respect for them.
Answer here is definitely the Rockets.
Yeah,
I would say. All right, so we're agreed on the Rockets.
Yeah.
Yes.
So personally, I probably would consider the play-in when I was
10 teams. 10 teams. That's so many teams.
That, but I don't know. Sure, but you guys got the point.
It's all right. I'm okay with Houston.
We talked about the in-season tournament, so we'll just go right to that one. Actually, not called that anymore. It's called the NBA Cup, which I just
the Emirates NBA Cup.
The United Emirates or whatever the hell it's called.
Yes. So out of all the groups in the NBA Cup this year, which group seems to be the most difficult?
Yeah, thank you, Brennan. West C, baby.
All right, they agree. So
let me just name the teams here, and then Brennan, you can talk about them. We have the Denver Nuggets, we have the Dallas Mavericks, New Orleans Pelicans, Golden State Warriors, and Memphis Grizzlies. Brennan, why is this the most competitive group?
So let's start at the top here. Let's start with the Nuggets and the Mavs. I really don't think there's an explanation needed for either of these teams. The Mavs were just in the Western Conference Finals, or they were in the NBA Finals.
They were in the NBA
Finals. Dude, the Nuggets, they came very close. They still have Nikola Jokic. They still have Jamal Murray. They still have a fantastic
They won a championship.
They won a championship. Yeah. Grizzlies and the Pelicans, two teams that are looking to make moves, make noise in the Western Conference this year. The Grizzlies hopefully get John Morant back for a full season.
The Pelicans are like this. The Grizzlies are like this for me, but both of them are going to.
But still, both of them, they're kind of meeting in the middle there. One's on an upward trajectory, the other's on down. But the Pelicans, they can still be a dangerous team. They've got they get the 8th seed last year. They got swept, right?
I thought they were the 6th seed.
Or the 6th seed. They were in the playoffs last year, so you still got to consider them a threat. The Warriors, they took a huge downward trajectory this year, but they still have Steph Curry. They still have a couple of guys here and there.
They had an okay offseason. They had an okay offseason.
We'll see what they do. It's definitely probably I'd say the worst team in this group, but as long as you have Steph Curry, as long as you still have a solid foundation, the Warriors could be a little bit of a sneaky team in this conference.
There's no games you can sleep on in this group. Yeah. The other big group I would say is West B, and I think those are the two big groups. And then after that, West A may be the third best group because all of the East groups are so well split. There are trash teams in each of those groups. So
I think that says more about the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference. I mean,
sure. It's split up evenly though in the East. Do what you can.
Yeah, gentlemen, you went way over your minute there, but that's fine by me. Let's go back. No, let's go to baseball here.
Step 4.
That's 4. Let's go to baseball here. Let's do the bottom baseball question here. Why do you think the Pirates made the decision to change O'Neil Cruz from shortstop to center field, which they just recently did? Very strange decision to me personally, but let's see.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah, Brennan.
All right, so they agree. They get a minute. Wow, good episode back here.
Yeah, I don't watch a lot of Pittsburgh Pirates baseball, nor do I watch a lot of baseball, period. But, I mean, if you have the second most throwing errors in the league, it's just not going to work out. But you do have a huge athlete. He's 6'7". He's a great athlete in general. And I think you want to utilize him in some ways so that you can still have another top hitter like McCutchen coming in as your DH. So they're trying to utilize him, still kind of spreading the middle in the outfield as a center fielder. I think it's an okay position change.
Yeah, no, I mean, you saw with Fernando Tatis, too. I mean, he literally had the same exact problem at shortstop, too. I mean, he was probably one of the best defensive shortstops in the league, could not make a throw over to first base to save his life. They move him to right field, and then all of a sudden he's back on track. So I think moving a big guy like O'Neil Cruz, who has the athleticism, has the speed, he is a five-tool player at his best. I think moving him to center field gives him the best opportunity to optimize that level of play that he can have. Hopefully he gets the strikeouts figured out because he's a very polarizing player on offense, but I think this move to center field should be worked out well for him.
Nice, quick and easy. Let's go to a very broad question here. The top question on the board for the NFL. Just a straight blank question. What is your hot take that you think will happen this year? Something you may think is unexpected, but let's see what we say here. It's intended to be a
it kind of hurts me to say this.
Brennan with a deep cut there, but let's see what Korey says. Wow. Okay. I'm more interested to hear Korey, so let's let Brennan go first.
All right. I said the Tennessee Titans will win the AFC South. If you look at their team last year compared to this year, the defense got significantly better. They added L'Jarius Sneed. They added a lot of great players on that defense. Will Levis, he was hurt a little bit last year, but he showed signs of promise. You now get him. You lose Derrick Henry. That's a huge loss. But you're bringing in Tony Pollard, who's shown at times he can be a great running back. Tajay Spears should be able to take the next step. In the receiving room, DeAndre Hopkins, he's out, I believe, right? 5 weeks? 4? Something like that. Oh, Kyle's counting down. But Calvin Ridley's there, too. The Titans, I think they're going to be a great team. How long is he out for? How long is Hopkins out for?
I know he's out, but I don't know.
5, 4, 3?
All right, Korey, go ahead.
All right, so my hot take was that the Detroit Lions are either going to be in the wild card or miss the playoffs this year. So it hurts to say it because they had such a great year last year, but I don't see it being sustainable at all. The Packers are coming for the NFC North, and then as far as the Lions themselves, their defense was a huge problem last year, and the only thing that they really did to fix it was they just threw in a ton of new guys onto the team. People that had injury concerns previously that aren't as proven. Those are not the guys that you want to try to solve that problem with. And then offensively, I think Laporta is going to take a huge step back because people are going to realize that it was just how many targets he was getting, how many snaps he was playing that was making him so good.
Let's let a minute 30 go.
All right. So let me explain my view on Korey's take here because I should disagree with this, but I kind of don't. Honestly,
I think Jared Goff is going to take a step back too. But again, they just don't have enough guys offensively. They have a really solid offensive line. They have a really good offensive line.
I think the team will be fine. I agree with you that I think Laporta's going to take a step back. I don't think it's going to be much of one. I still think he's going to be a 1,000-yard tight end. I still think he's going to be very productive. But those rookie numbers he put up last year are very hard to sustain, especially at that position. But I do like your take about the Packers. If Caleb Williams really is the guy, then the Bears should take the next step.
And that's Vikings, my other thing is I think it'll be there are a lot of winnable games on their schedule, but I think both the Bears and the Vikings have the potential to take one of those games from the Lions. Mm-hmm. And if that happens, then the Lions can easily fall to 8 wins on the year, and then they can.
I don't think they're going to be. I don't think they're going to.
I don't think they will. I'm saying it could happen. I really think it's possible.
I'm going to check their schedule. The Rams could be a trap game there.
So they're gonna probably lose. First week is a maybe a win or loss. Their next 3 weeks are weeks 2 through 4. They're gonna win those, and then from there it becomes a gauntlet.
I'm looking at the schedule. It's pretty rough.
There are winnable games. There are games that I have no doubt that they're.
If you want to say miss the playoffs entirely out of your thing and just say wild card team, I'd agree with you on that because I think they will make the playoffs. I just don't see a world where they miss it.
Well, here's the thing. I think they're going to disappoint more than the Titans are going to shock, my friend. The Titans winning the AFC South, it's possible. The division's kind of up for grabs. But like you said, they have players who are on injury concerns. They have their top 2 wide receivers are not really proven with their system at all. They don't even really have a system because they have a new situation entirely. So it's I don't know how much I trust the Titans. But the Lions, I think they're in a place where they have expectations and they're going to drop.
I don't know. I think they could. I wouldn't be surprised if they get a wild card, but I can't see them missing the playoffs. The NFC is just too weak for that.
Are we just agreeing here, gentlemen?
I think we have.
They're hot takes for a reason.
That's fair. That's entirely fair. All right, let's go back to college ball here. Which team that moved conferences after all the conference realignment this year do you think has a shot at winning their new conference? So this is Utah, this is Arizona State.
All right, we agree.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Is it Utah? I just said them. All right, minute, go ahead.
Yeah, Utah's going to win the Big 12 this year. Actually, I don't think they are going to. If we get into our speed round, you're going to see what I think is going to happen. But Utah is clearly ranked like the top team of the Big 12 on the top 25 on all predictions. Utah is looking to take over the conference.
I was very split between them and Oregon in the Big 10. The reason why I went with Utah is because Oregon also has Ohio State in the conference, and I don't think there's another team in the Big 12 that could rival Utah at Utah's peak. I think Ohio State is much more of a threat to Oregon than some other team in the Big 12.
Yeah, Ohio State is a powerhouse that they have to, that Oregon has to kind of steal from. Whereas Utah's coming in a situation where the two best teams from the Big 12, arguably last season, are gone in Oklahoma and Texas. I mean, you have a couple of big names, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, that are sticking around, but ultimately the conference is up for grabs. I don't see why Utah wouldn't be.
As long as Cam Rising stays healthy and the tight end, I'm blanking on his name. As long as those two stay healthy, I think it's clear that Utah should be the favorites to win this conference.
I would probably tend to agree with you. You did see my poll this morning. So let's stick with college ball. This is the last college ball question of the day. So initially this question was meant for last week, and I said, what went wrong for Florida State against Georgia Tech in Ireland? But now I'm just kind of generalizing this. What has gone wrong with Florida State? They started the number 10 team in the country, and now they're 0-2.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
Is this in agreement?
Yeah, we can talk.
Yeah.
Okay. Minute.
Yeah, Brennan, your headliner for this take was that DJ sucks, and yeah, he's not what they want him to be at all. He threw 40? He threw the ball 40 times last week against Boston College. Why? What?
No.
This offense is a mess. They have absolutely no rushing threats, and they're relying on a quarterback who's washed.
We were going to do this question last week, and Kyle just changed it to week 2. But the original answer I had before I changed it to DJ Sucks was just the offense failed to make adjustments at halftime. And I mean, that was like me saying oh, okay, maybe it's just one game. Georgia Tech was supposed to be a good team, You live and you learn. Now the offense is just plain bad. I mean,
they have nothing.
Exactly. I mean, you saw the one play. The wide receiver was wide open in the end zone after the underneath receiver drew both corner and the safety away from him, and Uyunglele just completely missed him. Completely, utterly, he was wide open.
Speaking of miss, I think you missed a little bit on that last name pronunciation, but
we'll move on. It's like Uyunglele.
Uyunglele.
That's okay. DJ. All right, you guys are up.
Sucks at football.
Is that 8 points?
That was 7, I think.
Yeah.
Was it 7?
Because we missed
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 7. All right. Let's go back to baseball. The other baseball question here. So this White Sox team is just real putrid. I just saw a stat. They've won 1 of their last 25 home games. I don't think that was the Yankees, but this general question here. This White Sox team is the worst team in MLB history since when? Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think. Yeah. I would argue that this is now. I'm gonna.
I kind of agree with Korey here. We'll give it the 30 seconds. Just give us the 30 seconds, but let Korey go.
Yeah, okay, all right. So I said worst team since the 1800s because I wanted to talk a little bit about one team called the Spiders, the Cleveland Spiders. You see, the Cleveland Spiders were really bad, and the reason why was because their ownership also owned a team called the St. Louis Browns, and they took all of the good players from the Spiders and traded them to the Browns. So the Spiders proceeded to go. What did they go? They went 20-134. So that's a .13 win percentage. I think that's pretty bad. But overall, in this modern era, Chicago is pretty atrocious.
All right, let's let Brennan go now.
So I didn't go back that far in the 1800s. I went kind of more modern. But I have in my notes, for a team, we haven't seen a team like this bad since in this era of MLB since the 1916 Philadelphia Athletics, who I think at least had 41 wins or something like Korey's mic fault. The only thing going for them is Garrett Crochet and Luis Robert, and these everybody on this team is horrible. It's just an awful situation. I was looking I was looking at their guys, like the pitching rotation. Everybody who was like qualified has like 30 plus innings has over like a 4.50 ERA. Unbelievable for the White Sox.
So
there you go.
So
Talk
here's
it
the
out,
thing:
gentlemen.
the worst season since the start of the 20th century had a win percentage of .235. Right now, I mean they're playing the Red Sox right now, but right now the White Sox have a .227 win percentage. It's atrocious. It's awful. I gave my shout out to the Cleveland Spiders, but literally they made the playoffs the year before, and then their ownership traded their team away. No team is arbitrarily this bad. Chicago, what is going on?
The crazy thing is, outside of Eloy Jimenez to the Orioles and like a couple, like Dylan Cease at the beginning of the season, the White Sox didn't trade like any of the players they thought they were going to trade. Like Luis Robert is still a White Sox, Garrett Crochet is still a White Sox, and they're still playing this bad. It's I don't know.
Like they're just a naturally garbage team. It's crazy, and the fact that the team that I had to name got completely screwed by their ownership in order to be that bad, and it was in 1899. Like what in the world?
I mentioned the 1916 Philadelphia Athletics. The Athletics now are moving to Las Vegas, and we're
both naming teams that are over 100 years before us. Like it's crazy.
Back when they smoked cigarettes during halftime. Or during
chewing tobacco. Those are like the days, bro.
Yeah, get rid of Big League Chew. Chewing tobacco is the move.
Are we agreeing that the White Sox team right now is the worst team since the White Sox right now? Is that the agreement we're going to do?
Essentially, yes. Unless you want to talk about the Cleveland Spiders.
The Cleveland or the Philadelphia Athletics.
You guys have like 50 seconds left. I think I just want to send it to the speed.
Oh, come on! I think there's another good question on here that I might want to talk about.
I'll do the bottom NFL question. I'll give you guys a untimed down here.
Yes.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Who is the player many are, or I guess not many are overlooking, but now have overlooked in fantasy football this year as we start this wonderful year?
Okay. All right.
I know both my boys are big ones. Oh, so are these both rookies? Am I crazy?
I don't think Zamir White.
No, Zamir White is not a rookie.
Oh, all right. Well, let's let Brennan go first.
All right. So I used to be like not a huge fan of this guy, but the more and more I looked into it, the more and more I realized how much potential Malik Neighbors has to be a very good wide receiver this year. He's the only wide receiver on this Giants team, a team that's going to be playing from behind in a lot of games because they're just simply not that good. Which means Daniel Jones is going to be throwing a lot of footballs, and who's the one guy he's going to have to target? It's Malik Neighbors. He's going to get a lot of garbage time yards, a lot of garbage time touchdowns, going to be that true like wide receiver one on that Giants team that really doesn't have a lot of offensive weapons. I think Malik Neighbors, huge sleeper this year. I know he's going a little bit higher in some drafts because people are slowly starting to realize it, but Malik Neighbors, make sure you draft him if you got a good ADP.
Let's let Korey go now.
Yeah, so I said Zamir White, the running back in Las Vegas, because he's a little more proven. This is going to be his third season in the NFL here. But for whatever reason, he's just as slept on. People are drafting him like 6th, 7th round. Obviously, I shouted out a player on my team in our leagues here. But like Zamir White, he is in a perfect situation in terms of fantasy. I don't see him being like a guy like Mike Williams a few years ago when he was subbing for McCaffrey, because it wasn't like whenever he was subbing in for Josh Jacobs that he was getting like this insane amount of production. He was just fitting into the system well, and now he's on a team where Gardner Minshew is the quarterback. Like, this is a number one option very clearly offensively, and he can catch the football, so he's good in PPR.
Gentlemen, please talk.
I love Zamir White this year. Make sure y'all draft him. I just don't think he's the biggest sleeper, and that may be because I was already very high on him, and so I was thought, a couple of other people are. Zamir White, he's going to be a great option. I just think Malik Neighbors, a lot of people are overlooking him because let's be honest here, the Giants situation is much worse than the Raiders. The Giants, the Raiders, they got Gardner Minshew. They still have Devontae Adams. Brock Bowers is a rookie I think he's going to be really good this year. So I think a lot of people are getting scared off of the situation with Malik Neighbors.
Well, the thing about Malik Neighbors though is that like if he doesn't do super well, I could totally see the Giants like putting in other guys, and that then guys off the waivers might come in and get a lot of points here. So that might be a team where some good waiver wire options are coming from. But Zamir White, I have no doubt that he's going to shine as the RB1.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's going to be very good. I don't think he's going to be. I don't think his ceiling is as high as Malik Neighbors. And if you're talking a player that people are overlooking, I think more people are overlooking this Malik Neighbors and Zamir White right now because a lot of people are drafting Zamir White for what you said Zamir White is going to do. He's going to be a solid RB2 in fantasy this year. And a lot of people are drafting Malik Neighbors maybe boom or bust, but I think he's going to be really good. A lot of people are
I think people are more worried about Malik Neighbors than they are about Zamir White. I think Zamir White, people just aren't thinking about him enough. But in terms of like a sleeper option, I can totally agree Malik Neighbors has a better situation than people are giving it out to be.
Okay. No. So we're agreeing on Malik Neighbors. So that's 9. Sure. Very, very strong round coming out of the break here. We are going to our speed round because I did help you out there for just not letting you run your mouth there. So our speed round is that Korey and Brennan are going to be predicting who they think will be in the 12-team playoff at the end of this year for college football. So obviously I made sure to tell the boys how the rules work for this because I didn't want someone to put 3 Big Ten teams in the top 3 or 4. And then, just everything else would be totally off. So the top 12 rankings are not necessarily who you think will be the top 12 teams at the end of the year, but where you think they'll be seated. So let's just get right to it. Let's start with Brennan. Who did you have as your number 1 spot?
Number 1 spot, I had the Ohio State University.
So did I.
And that's 10 agreements.
Hey, who'd you have winning the SEC?
Let's continue.
SEC, that was my 2 seed actually. I had Georgia.
I had Texas winning the SEC, which is why I had Georgia out of the top 4.
Okay, that's fair. All right, 3. 3, I had the winner of the Big 12. I had Utah.
I had Oklahoma State winner of the Big 12.
Also a good one. 4, the winner of the Atlantic Coast Conference. I originally, before we recorded this, before going into last week, I had Virginia Tech. After they lost to Vanderbilt, I changed it to Miami.
I
winning the ACC.
I had Louisville because they just did so well. Week 1, they did so good.
That's an all right pick. All right. 5.
Hey! Before we get to the 5th seed, what was your 5th conference champion that you picked? So probably 12th seed because there has to be 5 conference champions in the
12th seed. I said
playoff.
Boise State.
That's what I had. Yeah, Boise State coming in from the Mountain West.
Yeah, Mountain West.
Yeah. Okay, so 5 seed. I had Georgia.
I had Oregon.
Okay, 6. I had Alabama.
I had Ole Miss.
Ooh, I didn't have Ole Miss making it. I had Oregon 7.
Okay. I had Mizzou 7.
I didn't have Missouri making it either. Ooh, I had NC State going 8.
I had Penn State at 8.
Okay. I had Tennessee 9.
I had Alabama at 9.
All right, that's kind of low. Utah 10.
Texas at 10.
Ooh, low for Texas. I
like Ole Miss at Mizzou, and I had Notre Dame at 11.
Okay, yeah, I learned never to trust Notre Dame, so I'm not.
I really don't either, but I think they can get in.
I think it's.
They had a big win against A&M, so that kind of all right, maybe this is the year they get over the hump. But
yes, better be thankful that you guys had the first spot right because the only other spot you guys had linked was the 12th spot.
Was Boise State?
Pretty funny.
Yeah, it was Boise State. Yeah.
But this was tough though. The other it's a lot. We had the same teams, just in different orders.
Yeah, we had some of the same teams here.
Yeah, NC State, Korey, and I was like, okay.
Why are you hitting on NC State, man? It was a terrible game. That game was so bad. Also, the helmets on the Catamounts, freaking Eastern Carolina, whatever.
Western.
Team.
It was
my bad. My bad. Western
Carolina.
I'm sorry. East Carolina is the Pirates. My bad. Western Carolina, the Catamounts. Their helmets were ugly.
Yeah.
Well, then there you go. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you've learned anything from this episode, we know that Western Carolina's helmets are just awful.
Dude, they say cats on the side. They look stupid.
That's cool. That's cool. I don't know. All right, gentlemen, let's wrap this episode up. We appreciate you guys watching New Season Vanderball. I've been your host, Kyle, obviously joined by Korey and Brennan. Obviously follow everything down south, all of our socials. We got Instagram, we got Twitter, we got TikTok, we got every other streaming
LinkedIn,
service.
Baby!
Yeah, LinkedIn. Follow our LinkedIn. If that's the one thing you decide to follow, it's our LinkedIn. You better be following that.
That should be the one you should follow the most, I think. All right. Boys, anything else you want to say? I'll leave it up to you.
I think
guys.
you pretty much touched it all.
right.
Go Bills.
Hey, check out on those socials. Check out Kyle's top 25.
Yes, sir. We just posted
teams.
those
are
today. Kyle had a massive W with his list, so I think y'all should go check him out. Show him some support.
Yep. All right. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye. See you later now.